Welcome back to Chunk Varrock, episode number 3. Last time we unlocked the River Lum chunk with the Champions Guild, which unlocks for us a mining grind. Now I say a grind, but we're nearly level 19, we only have to get to level 20, and that is so that we can mine the silver rocks here in the mine. That is our only chunk task in this chunk, so we're going to mine iron until we get it, and this will be relatively quick, and we'll get straight into rolling yet another chunk. Here's our first level, level 19, 1 to go. That's only going to take, 14 more iron. With this final iron mined, whenever it wants to be mined. There we go. That is now level 20 mining, and I can mine silver, which is right here. Let's grab that, then we can roll another chunk. And that is the silver obtained. Let's get rolling. Alright, so that is our one chunk task complete. As you can see, I've also opened up the Barbarian Village and the Edgeville chunks here. That's because I now have access to the canoe station here. The one at the Champions Guild, while it was already in a chunk that I had unlocked, I did explain this in a previous episode, it actually deposits you in the Champions Guild chunk when it's done. So I did have to open this one up before I could really use it. Because I now can access Barbarian Village and Edgeville through that, those are now rollable. For the most part, when I have other methods of getting places other than fairy rings, I will be opening them up as accessible potential chunks. That's enough waffle. I'm only going to say that chunk number 4 here, the Alcarid mine chunk, is the only one I don't want. Anything else is fair game and I won't mind. So let's roll. Alright, so we're going to get the Lumberyard and Edgeville. Let me have a quick look into them and I'll decide which one I want. Okay, so after a little bit of checking, I am going to open the Lumberyard chunk. So that is going to put one of the wilderness chunks unlockable. As we know, I don't do the wilderness in this series, so I'm going to mark that off. And we've just got a few little things we've got to do. We need to kill one Black Knight, that should be fairly easy. And then I also need to make... I believe this one is for a making a plank. Yeah, normal plank at the sawmill. And the other one is for cutting down a dead tree, I believe. Dying tree in the lumberyard, yeah. So we'll go do those. I'll take my axe and some money. We'll get that tree down. We'll get that plank made and we'll kill one of those Black Knights. All right, we quickly hop this fence here. Chop down this dying tree. Good thing we did all that wood cutting. That's one achievement down, and then we'll just hop back over here, talk to the sawmill operator and make one plank. That is done. While I'm here, I'm going to just buy a saw as well. I'll eventually need that. And then we only have one thing left to do, and that is to kill a Black Knight. As you can see, I am dressed for the occasion. Well, there's one in the Jolly Boar Inn, so I'll get to him. It's a riveting battle. We just wait, essentially. That's a decent hit, an 8. That's our max hit. We're still working on strength training at the moment. I don't have any goals for attack or defense that I need to do, and strength always just means more max hits. Black Knight nearly down now. One more decent hit. There we go. 12 coins and some bones. Alrighty. That's another chunk task down. That of course means that it's time for me to roll yet another chunk. We're really getting through them today. Alright, once again, I don't want the Alcarid chunk, so not number 4. Lumbridge would be nice. I don't care if I get the exam center or the dig site. Silveria's a new one. I don't know that there's really much I could do there. I could start Rag and Bone Man, and I can kill a bat. That's about it. Let's see what we get. Roll 2. Spinning, spinning, spinning. First one. Okay, exam center or Barbarian Village. Let me think and I'll get back to you. Okay, so on inspection, Barbarian Village has a lot of things related to the Stronghold of Security. While I do have a 10k waiting for me in there, plus some new boots as well, there are a lot of combat tasks, including things like Kill an Anku. At the moment, the only prayer that I have protection-wise is Protect from Magic. If I had Protect from melee and range, this would be easy. But as it is, I need to kill quite a number of high-level creatures with what I currently have food-wise is not too much either. I would have to get the Skull Scepter as well, which means killing potentially quite a large number of Anku deep in the stronghold. So I think I'm going to go for something else right now. In this case, the exam center. I'll get given that one. Thankfully, I can't get from the exam center to the mage training arena because that would be quite a long grind. But there's a few little things I can do here. So let's get to them and I'll show you. Okay, so we do have some new active chunk tasks. Of course, crafting is only a level 1 crafting. I do have access to clay and water, so I can make soft clay. The exam center has a pottery wheel that I've never noticed. So I can craft an unfired pot there. They don't have a kiln, so I can't turn it into just a normal pot. Apparently panning requires some fishing or gives fishing experience. I don't know. So we'll have to do some quick panning. And then we can't complete the dig site quest without, well, the dig site. But we can certainly get a decent way through it. So we'll have to do that as well before we move on. So let's get to it. Okay, so I've got my soft clay, brought it down here to the potter's wheel. And for 6 crafting experience, I've made an unfired pot. As I say, I can't do anything with that, so that's task completed. And then here in the exam center, I can start the dig site quest. Let's see how far I can get. This quest has requirements for 10 agility and 10 herblore. Obviously, I can't have 10 herblore until I've completed the druidic ritual quest, which I'm a fair way away from. And 10 agility right now is not something I can get either. So it's not going to be something I can finish, but I can at least get partway through. Most of what I can do as part of this quest right now is just running back and forward between the museum and the exam center, so that's going to be entertaining. Okay, and here we go, panning. Yeah, that's task complete. Panning is a repeatable thing that you can do, and there's a few things you can get out of it. For instance, the coins, opal, or these nuggets that you can trade in for gold, or you just get nothing sometimes. Because it's repeatable, I can keep doing it, and I can get fishing experience every time. Like this, giving me 11 fishing. There's no reason to do that, but I just thought it'd be fun to do one level. And this is where the quest ends for me. The next step would require me going into this area that I can't go and talk to a lady. Since I can't do that, that's the end of the chunk task. Let's spin a new one. Alright, no more preamble this time, let's roll again. Spin 2. What are we gonna get? Hopefully some more of Varrock. Edgeville or... okay, that's a little bit more of Varrock. I'll definitely be taking this one with the Cook's Guild and another bank for me. That does open up a few things. I can probably actually get into the Cook's Guild. I'm not sure why that's not an active chunk task. I might force myself to do that before I move on, but I can also start Gertrude's Cat and do more of Romeo and Juliet. Oh, that also gives me access to the apothecary. That's great. So other than the part that they play in the Romeo and Juliet quest, the apothecary can make a few different potions. The strength, energy, and anti-poison potions. Now, anti-poison is one of the things that I have said that I will need to have before I do the Soulsbane quest or before I do Bryophyta. That also requires a Limpwort root, which I don't believe I can get anywhere just yet, or from any monsters that I can kill, but I do have access to cadaver berries. So once I have Limpwort roots, I'll be able to make anti-poisons here. So we can progress a little bit more of Romeo and Juliet, but we won't be able to finish it because we still need one more chunk for that. But we'll get as far as we can. As you can see by the quest marker, until we have this palace chunk unlocked, I can't do any more of Romeo and Juliet. Let's move on to Gertrude's Cat. Without access to sardines right now, pretty much all we can do is start the quest by talking to Gertrude. Other than that, I don't think there's really much we can do. We can't roll a sardine in the Dougal leaves because, well, as it says up here, 1 raw sardine required. We don't have access to a raw sardine, so quest complete. So I've worked out that the reason it's not showing us a task to enter the Cook's Guild is because I shouldn't have access to a chef's hat, at least by the way that the chunk picker thinks. Because I'm not using monster drops as parts of chunk tasks, the drop from the imp for the chef's hat that I have is not one that should be mandatory and therefore not one that I need to have as part of my chunk tasks. But because I do have the chef's hat, this won't always be the case, but I feel like I want to do the integrity thing here and get that cooking level up to 40, which will allow me to then enter the Cook's Guild. So let's do that. It's going to take a bit. We're only level 21. Okay, I wasn't entirely sure about that level 40 requirement. It is in fact level 32. So let's get level 32 and then enter the guild. So I have a bit of an unorthodox plan for what I'm going to do. Some of you might be able to figure this out in advance, but one of the things I've recently got is access to potatoes. Now, with potatoes and the meat that I have access to, I can actually make stews, though not just yet. I need a few more levels. Because potatoes are easy as a resource to get, I can just go and pick them and cook them. They're 15 experience each if I cook them successfully. That's only half as much as the cooked meat, but I already have a lot of cooked meat. And we'll work toward getting stews, which will be a much better food for me as well. Of course, for a stew, the potato isn't supposed to be cooked, but I will be cooking in the meantime, just because they are my second best food actually. Just cooked potatoes, baked potatoes. But once I get the level, I will just be making more stews. I'm going to need more bowls of water in the meantime as well. Alright, so I gathered up a bunch of potatoes, both raw and also now baked. And with one more successful cook, there we go. Level 25 cooking, I can now make stews. Stews are going to be great because they heal 11, which is way more than any of the current foods I have. To make them, we take a potato and put it in a bowl of water, which just takes a moment. Then you take cooked meat and add that in as well. Once these are all made, I'll make another 14 and then I'll try to cook them on the stove. Alright, 28 uncooked stews ready to go. It's around a 60% success rate, I think, at this level. So here's hoping. Looks like 117 experience for every success. Hopefully we don't burn too many of them. There's level 26 cooking. Let's keep going. Level 27. Well, we managed to cook a majority of them. 4/7 of them were successful. The rest not so much, but I can just empty these. Yeah, I can just click on the last one repeatedly and try again essentially. I'm going to buy a bunch more bowls and then get a bunch more potatoes. Keep doing that. It's a really good experience, so I should get my level 32 cooking pretty quick. The only problem is that you can only get 2 bowls per world in the general store, so I'll have to just keep hopping like I've been doing to get more. And there's level 28 cooking. 4 to go. Level 29. That is level 30 cooking. Level 31 cooking. And there's level 32. With some to spare. Let's finish these ones up and then make our way to the guild. Alright, with our chef's hat on and our skill level, we can go into the guild. Consider that chunk complete. Before we roll a new chunk though, let's check the cooking guild out. There is a pie shop here. I can buy red berry pie, meat pie, apple pie, garden pie, and fish pie. There's a chocolate bar here. There is an area here to get in for a bank, but as you can see in the chat box, I need the hard diary task complete for that. One floor up, there are some cooking apples here. There's a pie dish, cake tin, and bowls. Plus this place has a churn and acts also as a mill. There are also grapes here, which poses one further challenge. As you can see, wine requires level 35 cooking. And well, I have access to grapes and a jug for water, so I can make wine. Guess I'd better get to level 35. Stews have been working out pretty well for me so far, and I have 73 of them. Because they heal 11 hit points each, they are going to be my best food for a long while. I'm going to keep making those. Every successful stew that I make does mean I lose a bowl though, because I don't want to just empty a successful stew, so I do have to buy more bowls. Level 33 cooking. That is level 34 cooking, 1 level to go. I won't get it off of these remaining stews though. We only need 9 more to be fully cooked, so hopefully out of 14 I can manage it. There we go, level 35 cooking, too easy. We can now cook pizzas and make wine. Let's finish these ones off. Okay, so final thing, we need to make wine. For that you just use grapes and a jug of water. A little timer kicks off when you do that, and you need to wait see if it's going to spoil or become an actual jug of wine. Fun fact, you can keep doing that as long as you don't let the timer run out. Looks like we did it successfully, 200 cooking experience. But yes, as long as you don't let the timer run down, you can keep making new wines and put them in the bank and make more. And that allows you to hold the experience you're going to get until the 6-hour timer, allowing for massive drops of cooking experience. I just had a quick check and we have 125 stews now, so that's going to do us really well. But now we get to make a new chunk roll. Alright, so back on the chunk picker, as you can see, this is our map now. Now the reason that the Mage Training Arena is not unlockable is that there's no way I can actually walk into the chunk yet. I would need chunk number 3, or I'd need to work out another way through. The same for the ones over here, Draenor Manor and the Lumbridge Mill. I still can't walk into them, so they're still not unlockable. Edgeville is a special case where I can get there via the canoe. Lumbridge, I can do that as well, but I can get there just by walking. So now let's roll a chunk. Okay, Lumbridge, that's a good one. And the Grand Exchange. Well, the Grand Exchange is basically free. Let me have a quick look at Lumbridge and what we'd have to do there. Alright, so Lumbridge is a pretty good one. I'm definitely going to choose that over the Grand Exchange. There's a few things I'll have to do. You'll see them in just a moment. Alright, so with Lumbridge picked, I can now access the Eastern Lumbridge Swamp, the toll gate into Northern Al-Kharid, the area behind Lumbridge, and I now have access to the Lumbridge Mill as well, and the remainder of this chunk here that I unlocked earlier. I can now get into the sheep pen as well. So there's a few things I have to do, as you can see here. I need to get my cooking to level 42 because there is an onion spawn above the general store, and I need to be able to cook fried onions. So that's one thing I have to do, more cooking. I now have access to a furnace, so I have to smelt a silver bar as that's my highest level ore that I can obtain. I need to start Cook's Assistant, which I can actually finish. It doesn't think that I can finish it because I shouldn't have access to the mill here yet. But I have both a pot of flour and I have access to a mill up in the Cook's Guild, so it's not taking that into account. But I can finish Cook's Assistant. I also just have a pot of flour as an imp drop, so I can pretty much finish that right away. I can start the Restless Ghost, I can start Rune Mysteries, I can start X Marks the Spot. None of those I can finish. And there are a few little diary tasks as well, and then I just need to kill a goblin and a giant spider. The goblin is a different drop table to the goblin that I killed over here near the East Varrock Gate. So let's get to it. On top of everything else, I now have access to the home teleport, which is great. A way to get back to Lumbridge from wherever I am. I can also cast the Lumbridge teleport, and I can cast the Varrock teleport because I have both lore runes and the magic level, so I can get back between them relatively quick, and I haven't updated the map. One moment. There we go. And now I can see. With this furnace here, I won't have to collect up nature runes to do more smithing, which is good. I do have an anvil there as well, though the anvil in Lumbridge only lets you work with bronze, so I can still use the anvil in Varrock. And I'm just quickly getting that bucket of milk for the Cook's Assistant quest. I'll go back to the castle and finish that off and get a meager amount of cooking experience. There is also the Iron Dagger spawn here in the Goblin House. An Iron Dagger is a Charlie step, but I've been keeping all the Iron Daggers I've got from men and women and any other sources, so I actually have a lot of those. Alright, ingredients straight to the cook. Odd coincidence that I had all the ingredients already. Hand them over, and it's going to be quest complete. 1 quest point, 300 cooking experience. This should be my first completed quest, but I accidentally completed the Children of the Sun because I was pulled into a chunk that I shouldn't be able to beyond my will. But yeah, first official quest complete. As I mentioned, I can start the Rune Mysteries quest. Basically, I can get the Air Talisman, but then I need to go to Cedrador in the Wizard's Tower basement, and I don't have access to the Wizard's Tower yet, so that's as good as that's going to get. Same thing here with Father Eric. I can start the Restless Ghost quest. I need to now go to Father Ernie in the swamp, and I can't get there either, so that's as far as I can get with that quest. Same thing yet again for X Marks the Spot. I can start that. I don't think I can do more than just the 1 step there. I might be able to do the one behind the castle. Let's have a quick look. Also, pickpocketing a man in Lumbridge, that was a achievement task, as you can see down there. So I'll mark that one off as well. Let's get that spade. All right, for X marks the spot, dig here, get that. You then need to go back behind the castle here. I should be able to get this one. It should be in the chunk. I think it's only the wall. Yeah, beyond the wall here is the next chunk over. Let's go here, dig there, and then we can't do any more of the quest. It requires us to go to Draenor, so that's the end of that. Another quick achievement diary task. We can talk to Hans here. He'll tell us our age, and that's all we need to do for that. And one last one I can do is cut and burn an oak log in Lumbridge, so we'll do that quickly as well. All right, that's cut and burned. Done. One of the best things that I now have access to is Bob here, because I can buy a steel axe, an upgrade. Thank God for that. I can also buy a mithril battle axe, but the adamant sword is better. So, because we have to kill one of every new monster, this is a new drop table worth of goblin. So one kill there, done. Oh, I've clicked another one. Oh well, we'll do two. That's fine. And we need to kill a giant spider as well, so consider that done. Oh, it feels good having a steel axe. This would have been so much quicker. I'm just going to chop these before I bank. Why not, right? Have a bit of a stock. And that leaves us with just two more things to do. I need to get smithing to level 20, which should be relatively quick. And I need to get cooking to level 42, which is going to take a little bit more time. Let's get a start. I am going to use superheat to at least smelt the bars of iron that I have left to make, because otherwise it's a 50-50 shot, and it never seems to be 50-50 when I do it. This is going to help in the long run. And then I'll go back to Varrock and use the anvils there to get the most out of the experience for these bars, because I can't use the one in Lumbridge, as I said earlier. It only works for bronze. Then once I've finished this little bit, see where I get up to in terms of smithing level, I will finish it off with copper and tin, making bronze. Alright, I teleported to Varrock because that's really easy now. I forgot to get a hammer out of the bank, so we'll grab that and then we'll make these into something. Alright, I'm going to make them into daggers because I don't need another iron axe now that I've got one, but also able to buy one easily from Bob. I don't really need the iron daggers either, but in the long run they're going to be useful for beginner clues. That's level 17 smithing. I can now make aces. I can now make maces, so I'll hop over to that. See if we get another level. That is 18 smithing. As you can see, I've started my bronze bar making. There's a little bit of an easier way to do this that I'm going to show you. As you're likely aware, the closest bank that I could access would be the top of the castle, but on a PvP world, there's a bank chest right here that I can access, which makes it a bit quicker. I just have to hop back before I go to the furnace. Alright, I'm back to my smithing, and I'm making bronze knives. That is level 19. Let's keep this up. And with this one done, that is a level 20 smithing. Now I can smelt silver ore, which is my task. Let's do that real quick. That is done. Now it's only the cooking grind. Now that I have access to a furnace, there's one thing more to note. If I get that adamant ore or a mithril or some coal access, or runite even, I will have to get my smithing up to match it. So that's really not going to be fun. So now we have a cooking grind. One thing that I sort of have in mind is that I can make the pot of cream with a bucket of milk, and then you can further make that into a pat of butter and eventually cheese. So you can sort of triple use it. So it might be good in the long run, but it's not very good experience and it's kind of slow, so I'll see how it goes. I might go back to stews otherwise, but every general store only sells 2 bowls, so I have to hop a fair few times for a full inventory, which isn't very fun. It's still going. Okay. On careful reflection, I'm not going to do that anymore. As a chunk man, one thing that you always want to keep in mind is the fact that, well, eventually you're going to have to do other chunks and other tasks. So there are things like what I'm about to do, killing cows, that are going to help me in future as well as right now. Obviously it's combat experience for killing them. There's also prayer experience for burying the bones, which I will be doing. And of course, there's both the cooking experience that I need right now and a future crafting experience from the leather. I think I am going to go back to making stews. They're going to be pretty good food until things like potato with cheese, or when I get fishing access. There are fishing spots on the River Lum, just over here, but I don't have a fishing rod access. I only have a small net and I can't use that in that fishing spot. I will continue to use the PvP world to bank down here instead of going up the castle and saving some time each time. Got a beginner clue from a cow. Alright Charlie, what's it gonna be? Raw trout. Fuck. Now that I've completed the cook's assistant quest, another good thing about this chunk is this cooking range, which actually gives you a invisible +1 boost to cooking, which means I'm going to burn less stews. Also, there's level 36. Well, I missed recording level 37, but we're on our way to another one. Now that I have a few cow hides under my belt, I am going to be killing some chickens because you can make stew with those as well. And of course I can get some feathers out of that. And that is level 46 strength. Doesn't give me a max hit, but I do get a combat level. Here we go, cooking level 38. I'm not sure what sort of experience this is going to be. Let's have a look. These do take a while. 22. Okay. Yeah, not great. I'll keep going with the stew plan. Okay, well, that took a while, but next level, I'll be able to add those to my baked potatoes, and that changes them from a healing of 4 to a healing of 14. So then those will be my best food. 39 cooking, and now I can make those baked potatoes with butter, which I'll do as soon as I get back. Did you know you could cook here? It's just near the chickens. Alright, these potatoes with butter are really easy to make. You just take a baked potato, which I already had a bunch of, and the pot of butter and put them together. Easy done. Level 40 cooking now, just making those butter potatoes. I can now make cakes. Interesting. Let's make this cake. Hey, I didn't even burn it. Level 41 cooking, 1 level to go. I'm just finishing off some more cooked meat, and then I have 56 more stews to make. These ought to be the last of the stews that I need to cook. Only a couple more. 1 more to go. There it is, level 42 cooking. And I can now cook fried onions. I will do that in a minute, but first let's finish this inventory and see how many we make. So we ended with 255 stews and 56 potatoes with butter. So that's a lot of healing for 11s and 14s. Now as you can see here on the table, there is an onion at the top of the general store. I can add that to the bowl. I have to have a knife in my inventory, and that makes chopped onion. I am then going to have to cook that up. Let's hope I don't burn it. Here we go. Are we going to burn it? Let's find out. We just need to cook 1. And we did it. 60 experience each, and my final chunk task completed. And now we're back at the chunk picker, so I don't know why this one keeps reopening itself. I'm going to have to probably keep doing something about that. But let's have a look. So we can now get into the Lumbridge Swamp. That means I can do a little bit more of the Restless Ghost quest. There's also some fishing down there, so that might not be the worst thing ever. 9 and 8, not much to do. 3 would be the very worst chunk that I could get. Level 70 smithing and level 70 mining grind that I really don't want to do. 4 would open up a little bit of Alcarid. I don't think it would give me too much to actually do there though. Let's have a quick look. Cut an emerald. Okay, and we need to start the feud. Cutting an emerald is going to take a while since we mostly only have balls of wool. And we can also make sinew with beef. We have the spinning wheel and Lumbridge. That wouldn't be great. Anything up near Varrock would be all right. Let's find out what we're going to get. All right, spinning 2 chunks. It's going to be the Grand Exchange and the other side of the Lumbridge Castle. So Grand Exchange is nothing. This one here, what would that give me access to? I need to kill a ham guard, enter the ham hideout. That also means I can pickpocket ham guards. That's not so bad. A little bit of Lost City. Yeah, I'll go with this one. That's not too bad. Okay, and that opens up a few other chunks. The Lumbridge Swamp and Draenor Village eventually. Let's get to the task. Okay, first things first, I want to enter the ham hideout, so that will be a chunk task for the achievement diary. Pick lock here. We're level 40 thieving right now, so we shouldn't have too much of a problem. I will have to pickpocket a ham member. It's not actually a chunk task, but it's something I'm going to do. And also, I can attack and kill a ham guard, so we'll do that first. And any second now, that is the ham guard down. We get some buttons. Can't even clean them, need level 2. I brought some tea down here, that'll give us a bit of an attack boost and also heal us up just a little bit. Let's do a little bit of pickpocketing, see what we might be able to get out of it. Ham members do have the potential to drop me a few upgrades. For one, well, that didn't end well. For one, I can get the steel pickaxe from them, which will be great if I ever have to do a bit more of a mining grind. There's a few pieces of clothing I can get from them as well. At this point, I don't think any of them are actually an upgrade. I did get the ham boots there and a leather body. I can get arrows, I can get all sorts of stuff from them, and most importantly, I can get easy clue scrolls. Now, the chance of doing an easy clue is pretty low, but it might be a fun way of spending some time. I might try to get one done. Let's see how we go first. According to the chunk picker, there are 20 easy clue steps that I can actually complete. I don't know if that's actually correct, because sometimes it won't tell you that you can complete some that require items that it doesn't think that I have. But with 3, I can do about a 77% chance of getting an easy clue. I haven't got any yet, but maybe if we get some, who knows. And not long after that last clip, there's level 41 thieving. Not that it helps much. Hey, that's a pick upgrade. Iron pickaxe. Still hoping for the steel one as well. Hooray, finally. The steel pickaxe is 1 in 51 and it took 192 pickpockets to get it. I do have most of the ham outfit. I am just missing the shirt right now, so I'll stay at least for that. Okay, one more pickpocket. Level 42 thieving. Still haven't got the top yet. Just give me your shirt, man. Hooray, I got the ham shirt. Okay, well, I didn't really need it, but it is Fashionscape, and they may be good for some clue steps. I think that there's a number of the parts of the ham outfit that are required for stash units. As you can see, it took 286. There is an extra one here that I did after getting it. I should also have at least one more easy clue. I managed to get 4. They're 1 in 50, so I was a bit behind. But I couldn't do any of them, so nothing there. Okay, so I can also start the Lost City quest. I can't get very far through it. There is a tree just here I need to chop. But there's a guy that comes out of it and he runs away. I managed to get him quick enough at least. Let's see. He'll finish talking and now I can't do anything else because I'd have to get to Entrana. And so that's the last thing in this chunk. Let's spin a new one. Alright, it hasn't been very long. Let's roll 2, see which one we get and what we have to do. Okay, Edgeville, interesting. And Barbarian Village, okay. Now, Edgeville is a pretty scary chunk. There's the dungeon beneath Edgeville, which does contain adamant ore and would require me to get my mining and smithing all the way up to level 70. It does have a furnace that's really close to the bank, so that's nice, but it's not a grind that I really want to do right now. There's also, that would open up Slayer. I might not be able to get too far. Slayer's sort of locked to what creatures I can access, and if I get a task I can't do, then that sort of blocks off any further tasks. We've gone over Barbarian Village a little bit before. I would need to get the Skull Scepter, and there's a few other things there. It's not too bad actually, so I might go with that one. Alright, so as you can see, the Dwarven Mine entrance is now rollable. That's another scary one. That would require a mining grind up to Amethyst, which I really don't want to do. But it would allow me to get the Rune Pickaxe, so it wouldn't be the very worst thing. But for Barbarian Village, I need to get 8 crafting because I need to spin a bowl on the pottery wheel and fire it, all within Barbarian Village. There's another task here. I need to enter the 2nd level of the Stronghold of Security. I need to wear adamant armor because they sell adamant full helm and med helm in the helmet shop. I need to get mining to 30 for coal because there's a coal spawn up here on the surface. I'd have to get 30 smithing to smelt a steel bar using the coal, that's fine. And I need to kill a bunch of creatures, Anku, barbarians, Cuddlepon, flesh crawlers, ghosts, giant rats, goblins, Gunther the Brave, Minotaur, Scorpion, shades, skeletons, wolves, zombies. You get the idea, there's a lot of things. So we're going to have to slowly get into that. Okay, so checking out our new chunk, of course we do have pretty much all of Barbarian Village unlocked. So now we can do pottery. We have full access to the pottery oven as well as a couple of potter's wheels there. We have access to hunting atop the tower here, so that's another step we can do for a beginner clue. We have a new spinning wheel. We have access to the Barbarian Hall, so there is beer here. There is cooked meat, neither of those are really new. We have new barbarians. But importantly for now, we have Pexa here, who, as you can see, sells helmets up to an adamant full helm, which is going to be our best in slot helmet, and I'm going to buy. And because I have level 30 defense already, I can wear that, as you can see, which is one of our chunk tasks. Now, other than all the stuff we have to do in the Stronghold of Security, we also have to mine coal, which means we need level 30 mining. At the moment, we've got level 23, so we'll have to do some more mining here. We also have to get smithing up to level 30 so that we can smelt the coal and iron that we have together into a steel bar. Even with the steel pickaxe and this level of 23 mining, this is taking a while to get even a single 10, as you can see. We'll get through this a bit and see where we're up to. It turns out that a full inventory of tin is going to give me exactly a level, so once I mine this and one more ore, seriously, anytime. Okay, apparently this is a lot quicker when I'm not recording a clip. For some reason that slows it down, but there we go. Level 24 mining. 6 more levels. I'm going to bank these. I'm going to reciprocate another inventory of copper, and then I'm going to just do iron. I'll probably stick to superheat as well. It's pretty good magic experience. It's good smithing for the iron, and it means I get a bar every time instead of roughly half the time. Let's all be honest, we know it's less than half the time. And I do have a lot of nature runes still, so it's going to be a lot better. Also, then I don't have to go to a furnace back in Lumbridge. That's level 25 mining there. So I was looking into other sources to get nature runes for my upcoming smithing grind, because it would be better to just smith iron basically all the way to 30 with nature runes. Again, with superheat item, I don't lose any of the ore to the furnace. And cave crawlers in the Stronghold of Security do have a 1 in 25 drop of 5 nature runes. Now, I'll have to kill them anyway. They might be a good source to get a few more other than just the wizards. In other news though, that's level 30 mining. Of course, it's not enough to just say I have 30 mining. I do have to actually mine that coal, so off to Barbarian Village for that. I realized that I also have the spots in the chunk that I can get these rainbow items, so let's just grab all of those. Look real colorful. And the shirt. There we go. Once we get the boots, we'll look even more colorful. Here we go. Coal, you just have to mine it. Oh, that was quick. Okay, task complete. Alright, so that's 2 of the goals down. I still need the 30 smithing. I still need 8 crafting. I might actually do the 8 crafting now. That'll give me a 2 for 1. I'll go mine clay down here in the West Varrock mine. And then I can work it in Barbarian Village. Just had a Freaky Forester random event. New lederhosen piece. That's 2 of them. I put my other piece of lederhosen on for the vibe, but well, I should have brought an axe instead of a pickaxe. Doesn't quite match it. Let's make this soft clay into stuff. So at level 1 we can only make pots. We'll start with a few of those, and once we get to level 3 we can make cups, and then pie dishes, and eventually bowls, which is what we need. Not sure what I'm going to do with all these pots, but that's a problem for future me. And level 3 crafting. I can now do cups. And I can polish those buttons I got too. The kiln straight up destroyed a few of my pots. Reminds me of something that happened to me in middle school. Anyway, we're going to need a few more. The cups that you can make with clay are much better experience. I'm only bringing 7 soft clay with me, as you can see, because every soft clay that you use makes 4 cups. So of course I'll get a full inventory out of that. And then each of the ones when you actually fire them give you more experience than a pot also. So it's actually really good compared to pots anyway. Besides, if there's one thing I need, it's more cups. You know, it's not like I stole from the tea stall thousands of times. And there's level 8 crafting, which is the goal. I can now craft bowls. I'll have to come back with some more soft clay and do that for the achievement. Judging by my success rate on these cups, I might need to bring a few just to make sure I get the achievement without the kiln destroying it. This will offer me a new source of bowls if I go back to making stews. And I only need one to be successful. That'll do it. Easy task complete, and I've completed my chunk goal for crafting too. I will eventually go back and complete the 30 smithing grind, but I want to do a little bit of the combat, kill a few of the things that I need to in the stronghold of security. So I'll get down there and then explain what I need to do. Well, actually, before I even descend into the stronghold, I need to kill both a higher level barbarian and I need to kill Gunther the Brave as well. So let's do that first. That's the higher level barbarian down for an amulet mold. Okay. That's 1 in 128, I think. And Gunther the Brave. Let's go. Nearly done with Gunther. There we go. Gunther down and a beginner clue. Can I do it? No. So quickly looking back at the chunk map, you can see in the task section, I have to kill things on all of the floors. So that's going to be fun. So we'll start at the first floor and go through everything. I'll show each kill. I will have to kill the Minotaur for their part of the Skull Scepter. It's not on this list, but I think getting the Skull Scepter should be part of the list, which means the Catapulpon, the Flesh Crawlers, and the Anku as well. I'm going to have to kill, I think that's a 1 in 33 drop. So I have to kill them repeatedly till I get that from each of those. So let's get to it. One thing is the goblins down here, the level 11 ones that I just killed one of. I have to kill both a wolf down here and one of the Minotaur. So let's start with that. That's the wolf down. And then a Minotaur next. Okay, done. And I will need to kill more Minotaur for their piece of the Skull Scepter at some point. Well, I got an ensouled head from a Minotaur, but that's not one of the things I needed. There we go, 34 kills, so slightly over the rate, but we did get the right skull half. Let's continue on. Alright, Gift of Peace, give me that money. Thank you. Next level. On this floor we have the Flesh Crawlers here. They also drop a piece of the Scepter. The same rate, 1 in 33. They hit pretty quick, but they don't hit very hard. So they should be relatively easy. I brought a few stews with me. I probably shouldn't need to eat them. I also got some cooked meat from the Minotaur, so we'll see how we go. Descending here to the second floor of the stronghold was also an achievement, so I can mark that off. Well, there's the bottom of the scepter. That was well under rate. That was like 15 kills, I think. 13, even less. We'll continue on to one of these zombies next. Okay, that's the zombie down. I will need to kill a giant rat down here too, but these zombies are aggressive, so I'll have to find a way to get one to attack me if there's not a better area for them. Here we go. Grain of plenty, and yay, more coins. Let's see if I can find a better spot for the rats. Here we go, this place looks better. And just spam click to get through the doors if you don't care about us answering the questions. And this should be pretty quick. There we go, giant rat down. I'll mark that off the list now. Let's go to the next floor. I'm not sure if these spiders can poison you, so I've moved to a free-to-play world so that I can kill this Catapulpon. Unfortunately, the spiders are more aggressive, so you got to find a spot where you can get the Catapulpon on you instead. Now, they do use magic to weaken you, but they don't use magic in their actual attacks, so looks like we might have to eat some stews here, though. We might have to come back here with range and magic and safe spot these guys for the scepter piece, because they are kicking my ass. And I am all out of stew. Okay, Catapulpon down. Let's get out of here. Quick. Okay, so I had a quick look and there is a safe spot, so I'll have to go back and do that. Now that I've finished killing the lower floor creatures, I'll go back in with a lot more food and just try to get one kill of everything else. Then I'll come back for the scepter pieces after that. Alright, I'm going back with ranged and with more food. Let's get that scepter piece. Also, I did check the wiki. It looks like these spiders can't poison me. I am going to wait for some run energy before I make it to the safe spot though. I do have to kill one of these scorpions as well, so let's quickly do that. Can I safe spot? Maybe here? Yeah. Alright, let's do that. Alright, easy. And that is a scorpion down. In this room just east of the center, we can stand here. The Catablopon are 2x2, so they can't get in. So we'll just sit here and range them, and I'll update you once I get the scepter piece. One of these Catablopon, this one that I've highlighted, tagged, is one that runs away when you're in a safe spot. So that's really annoying. But another Freaky Forester event, this time for the Lederhosen hat. Still haven't got the scepter piece from Catablopon yet. Well, we're on kill 34, this will be 35. Haven't got it yet, it's 1 in 33, so hopefully soon. It does take about a minute or two to kill each one of these guys, and then I'm also slowly running out of the arrows. So I might have to go and get more if I don't get it soon. As you can see, I've been flicking prayer to try to help, but so far nothing. I just hit level 48 ranged, which now allows me to hit an 8 when I'm using this prayer, Hawkeye. Finally, that was like 51, I think. 52. 52 Catablopon. But they're hard to say. But we finally got it. I guess I'm going to go back, get some more arrows before I do any more. And we'll get our 5k while we're here. Thank you. Actually, we might as well just finish this off. Let's get the boots. Fancy boots, of course. Although we can get the fancier boots. Maybe we should do that. I'm doing some quick superheating here. And that's level 45 magic. I can now teleport to Camelot, which I am very far away from. I'm just getting together some iron knives so I can go back to the Stronghold of Security. But there's level 25 smithing. Alright, back in the Stronghold. As you can see, I'm taking on these shades with my knives. I have brought magic so that I can go after the Anku. They are weak to air spells, so I'll be using those. The shades are terrible. They have 170 hit points. They take forever to kill. And they don't offer much experience in return. As you can see, I'm only getting a little bit, despite how much I hit. So this could be a while. There we go, finally. That took far too long. Okay, now there's a safe spot for Anku, and I'll be doing that. Alright, so this is the safe spot that the wiki says. I think these skeletons sometimes come down this way. They might attack me as well, who knows. But in the meantime, let's get some kills. I at least got the 1 kill down, so that's the task complete for that, but I'll still need to get the final bit of the scepter as well. Just as a quick note, this is so much quicker than Catablopon as well. Well, that was easy. That was 7 kills, so excellent. I'll finish this one off, and then I have a few more things to kill before I leave. I do have to kill one of these skeletons. That shouldn't take too long. I'm just going back to using mind runes for this because they're not weak to the air spells. But I'll update you when it's killed. Only need one more big hit. This sort of do it. There we go, skeleton down. Now the only thing left to kill is a ghost. Okay, there are ghosts in this room. I will just have to kill one. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I'm just going to use up my death runes that I got from the Anku. And I should get a magic level in just a moment. There we go. Level 46. And one more big hit. There we go, ghost down as well. Okay, that's all the things I had to kill. As you can see, I have all the pieces of the Skull Scepter. Do I need to use the guide to make them, or can I make them myself? Looks like I can do it myself. Done. Skull Scepter. I will go get it enchanted by the guy at the bottom of the Stronghold though, because then it won't break if I run out of charges, but that's very nice. I love the Skull Scepter. Alright, so this guy here, Saltzin, you show him the boots and the scepter, and then he will imbue it for me. There we go, a little bit of an animation. And there we go, Skull Scepter imbued. I will need more skull pieces to charge it in future, but right now I don't need that. What I do need right now is level 30 smithing. So I sort of have a plan. It's 2 for 1. I'm going to go back to those flesh crawlers. As I said earlier, they have a 1 in 25 chance of dropping nature runes, 5 at a time. That will help with smelting iron, gives me a guarantee with superheat. They also drop herbs, which is nice, but not necessary right now. But of course, they'll drop scepter pieces, which I can then turn into, well, more charges for the Skull Scepter. So it'll be a nice mix of things. It'll help me get combat stats up as well. And then once I have a bunch more nature runes, because I'm currently out, I will go back to smithing. I got a beginner clue while mining, and it's one that I can do. Now that I have more area unlocked, there's a better chance that I'll be able to do particularly beginner clues, but also a few other easy clues as well. Well, the second step is hunting, which is now in my chunks, thanks to having Barbarian Village. So we'll get this one done and see if we get either a two-stepper or we manage to get a third step that we can do. Well, it's going to be a three-stepper, but the gold ring and gold necklace are both things I've received from the Captain Arnav randoms, and I can actually do this step, which means I'm going to get another beginner casket. The best thing I could get out of it would be a black pickaxe, which would be both an upgrade and also one of the collection log slots. Alright, should be a casket here. There we go. Let's just move here and open it up. What are we going to get? Okay, well, steel plate legs, that's an upgrade. But no collection log, no black pickaxe, that's alright. I made my way back to Lumbridge, and using a PvP world as per previously, I smelted all the iron. I got a fair good number of bars out of it. I think pretty much 50-50 for the first time ever, perhaps. There were a few times it was a bit under and a few it was a bit over, so roughly okay. I'm just working on iron knives now just to finish off the smithing grind. We're level 28 at the moment. We'll get to level 29 in 12 more bars, and then I'll show you when we get to 30. And there we go, 30 smithing. I can now make steel. I need to make one steel bar, and then we're done for the chunk. Unfortunately, we're out of nature runes, so I'm going to have to go back to Lumbridge. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, I still had some leftover knives, and with the ones I just made, I have over 1,000 iron knives. I do still have some bronze ones, but these are going to come in real handy as well. Let's go smelt that steel bar. And real quick, that is done. Chunk complete. Because the chunk is complete, that means I get to roll a new chunk. This will be the final roll of the episode, unless I get a nothing chunk. I'm going to keep going until we get given a grind. Let's see what we get. Okay, so that chunk didn't take too long. Just a quick reminder of what we've got on our chunk map now. Number 3 would be terrible. That would be a level 70 smithing and mining grind. I really don't want to do that, so let's avoid that at all costs. The only other one that I really don't want to do is 13. That would go into the Dwarven mines here, which means I would have to do Motherlode mine, I'd have to complete the mining guild gloves, and I would have to get my mining up to Amethyst and mine that, which I think is 92. Either way, at least I would have a rune pickaxe available, but that's going to take a long time, so hopefully I don't get given that one. Number 11 would be alright. I can't get into Draenor Manor without having the chunk here available, but I could get around the outside of it. Other than that, 12 would mean a forestry grind. I'm not that much into forestry, but that would take a long time. There's a fair bit of RNG as well, so that's not going to be any fun, but well, I could do it now, I suppose. I got a steel axe, it might not be too bad, and the willows are close to a bank. Other than that, number 9, that has adamant in it, I think. Yes, so that would also be a level 70 mining and smithing grind, not something I really want to do. 6 would be fine. 4 would be okay, but again, close to 3. The dig side wouldn't be much. Silveria wouldn't be much. The Varrock Palace would be good. That would mean I could unlock Varlamore. And there's a few other things I could do. Let's have a look. Number 7 is nothing. Edgeville would be a fairly decent grind as well with yeah, there's adamant down in this bottom of this chunk as well, so that's another one I really don't want. But let's see what we get and suffer the consequences. Okay, what are we going to get? Ooh, okay, well, definitely won't be the Alcarid mine, so I guess we're getting this one, Alcarid. Okay, only 2 little things we have to do. We have to start the feud. It would just be talking to Ali Morrisane, and we need to cut an emerald because the gem seller here can sell me an emerald. So that's not too bad, but that's all going to be for next time. For now, we're up to 4 days and 5 hours of playtime. We're combat level 49 and we're total level 666. I hope to see you next time.